Hi everyone, today we're doing a quick 15-minute mat workout to activate your deep core muscles. You won't need any equipment other than your mat. Let's go ahead and jump right in by warming up our abs with Pelvic Rocks. We'll lie on our backs, knees bent, feet about hips distance apart, finding your neutral spine by allowing your tailbone and entire back of the ribs to sink heavy into the mat. You should have a small gap between your lower back and the mat. That's the natural curvature of your spine. Now form a triangle with your hands and place it directly on top of your pelvis. Your triangle should be flat and parallel to the mat. Take a big inhale here. On your exhale, tuck the pelvis forward, closing that gap between the lower back and the mat. Inhale as you untuck that pelvis, then tilt it in the opposite direction to an arched back. Exhale, coming back into your pelvic tilt, thinking of pointing that triangle towards the ceiling. Then inhale to come to an arched back, thinking of pointing the triangle towards the mat. Keep going, following your natural breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. See if you can pull your abs in even deeper each time you tilt your pelvis. Warming up the abdominals, getting them firing right away to get them ready for our deep core work. On your next exhale, come back to your neutral pelvis. Extend your arms long out to your sides into a T position, palms pressing down into the floor. Bring your right leg into tabletop, then bring your left leg into tabletop. Inhale here, then exhale as you drop your knees to one side, allowing the opposite hip to come off of the mat. Inhale back to center. Exhale as you drop your knees over to the other side, making sure our ankles, knees, and hips stay in line with each other the whole time. Option to extend the legs as you drop them over for more of a challenge. Only dropping the knees as far as you can go while keeping both shoulders glued onto the mat. Going slow and controlled here, really using your abs to control the movement. So each time you recenter, think of pulling the belly button into the spine, then keeping those abdominals pulled in each time you drop the knees to the side. We'll do a couple of more on each side. You've got this. Check in with those shoulders here. Are you keeping them glued to the mat the entire time? That's what's going to make this hard. Making sure you're still breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Last two here. Last one. Amazing job. Now extend your arms straight up to the ceiling with your wrists directly in line with your shoulders. Lift your head, neck, and chest up off the mat as you press the arms down right next to your hips. Then lower everything back down as your arms come back to start. Exhale up, trying to lift those shoulder blades off of the mat, then inhaling as you lower. Option to extend your legs up to the ceiling for a challenge, or lower them as low as you can for even more of a challenge. If all of these options are too much for you, you can plant your feet onto the ground with your knees bent. Imprinting your spine each time you lift the chest up. Everything your arm casts a shadow over pulls in towards the mat. We have 3 more here. Last 2. Hold it up on this last one. Let's begin to pump those arms. Inhaling for a count of 5 and exhaling for a count of 5. Really pumping those arms vigorously, getting that blood flowing through the body, trying to pull that belly button in towards the spine deeper and deeper every time you exhale, bringing oxygen into the whole body each time you inhale. Keeping an apple's distance between the chin and the chest. If at any time your neck bothers you, you can lay your head down on the mat. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower everything down. Reach your arms long overhead, then stretch the fingertips away from the toes for a long body stretch. Now hug your knees into your chest. Extend your left leg out to a 45-degree angle. Use your right hand to grab your right ankle. Use your left hand to grab onto the right knee. Lift your head, neck, and chest, curling your forehead towards your right knee. Hug the knee in towards your chest, then switch. Hug the left knee in and switch. Keep going here. Pulling your belly button deeper towards the spine each time you switch legs. Make sure you're keeping that head, neck, and chest lifted and keeping an apple's distance between the chin and the chest. Last 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay lifted here as you hug both knees into the chest. Reach the arms and legs away from each other. Then circle the arms to hug the knees in. Keep going. Keeping that head, neck, and chest lifted if you can. Trying to keep those shoulder blades lifted off the mat. If your neck is bothering you, lay that head down, keeping an imprinted spine the entire time, pulling that navel in. Hold the knees in here. Left leg extends to 45, right leg to the ceiling, grabbing onto the ankle. Pulse the leg in towards the face twice and switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. Keep going here, keeping an imprinted spine, pulling the belly button in deeper and deeper with each switch. Try to find more length through those legs by tightening through the quads, reaching through the toes. Last few here. On the last one, hold your head lifted. Place your hands behind your head. Twist to the left, then twist to the right. Alternating legs as you switch sides. Think of aiming your armpit to your knee rather than your elbows to your knee. Twisting through the torso as we engage through the obliques. 3 more sets here. Last 2 sets. Last set. Beautiful job. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock side to side, massaging out that spine here. Then extend your arms, extend your legs for a long body stretch. Now push yourself up to a seated position. And then let's lie on our side, bringing our forearm to the mat. Option here to place the top foot in the front and the bottom foot in the back. This will be a little easier. Other option to stack one foot on top of the other. Just make sure your shoulder is in line with your elbow. Lift your hips up to the ceiling. Extend that top arm up to the ceiling. Twist towards the mat as you reach that arm underneath your body, then come back up. Keep going. Trying not to let the hips sink towards the mat, keeping them nice and lifted. Each time you thread the needle, you're pulling those abs in towards the spine. Try to get those shoulders parallel with the mat with each twist. On this last one, hold the twist, give me little pulses, making these pulses really small, pulling that navel to the spine. Now unrotate back up to your plank, dip the hips down and up. Doing pulses with the hips here. Last little bit before we go to the other side. Keep those abdominals engaged. Awesome. Set those hips down. Let's come into a seated staggered position here. We'll go into a couple of mermaid stretches. Left hand on the ankle, right arm comes out to a T. Inhale, bringing that arm up and over, going into a nice side body stretch. Come all the way back up. We'll do one more like that. Laterally flexing here, trying to find a deeper stretch. Come all the way up. And we'll switch sides, going into our side plank. Choosing the same position with the feet that you did on the last side. Making sure your shoulder is directly above your elbow. Lift that arm up to the ceiling. Going into thread the needle here. Keep those hips lifted. Don't let them sink down. Pull those abs in each time you twist. Try to square those shoulders off to the mat. Keep breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now stay twisted, give me small pulses here. Now unrotate, going into hip dips. Pulling those abs in as you do this. Set those hips down. We'll come into mermaid stretch on this side. Left arm extends out to a T. Inhale up and over, creating a rainbow shape with that side body here. Coming up, let's do one more. Reaching up and over. Finding a deeper stretch. Come all the way up. And now let's go on all fours on our hands and knees into our quadruped position. Option to come onto the forearms if your wrists bother you. Just make sure your arms are in a number 11 and that your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. Just make sure your shoulders are pulling away from your ears, engaging down the back, that you're pushing your body away from the mat and pulling the abs in. Now curl your toes under, and then you're gonna hover your knees 1 inch above the mat. Pulling those abs in, making your back as flat as possible. We're gonna hold it in this hover, trying to really engage that core, trying to flatten out that back as much as possible. Lengthening through that cervical spine, drawing the shoulders down the back away from the ears, pulling those lower abs in. Make sure you're not sinking through those shoulder blades by pushing your body away from the mat. Now you're gonna march your right foot in, then your left foot in, right foot back, left foot back. Keep going. Using the abs to control the movement rather than the legs. Keep that butt and keep those hips down. Don't let them go up to the ceiling. Now let's switch it up. Left foot comes in first, then right foot, left foot back, right foot back. Belly pulling into the spine. We're in the home stretch here with this workout. Hopefully your abs are on fire by now. We're almost there. You got this. We'll be cooling down here in a second. Last 2. Last 1. Drop the knees down. Going into cat-cow stretches. Let's settle into our breath here. Taking a big inhale. On your exhale, rounding through the back, pulling your navel into your spine. Inhaling in the opposite direction to an arched spine. Exhaling, coming into your angry cat. Inhaling, coming back to your arch. Following your breath here. Releasing the abdominals after all that hard work we did. Now come back to your neutral spine, lower yourself all the way down to the mat, hands underneath your shoulders like you're gonna do a push-up. Draw your shoulders down the back, pulling them away from the ears, imagining you have jeans on and you're pulling your elbows towards your back pockets. Reach through the crown of the head as you peel your chest off of the mat, pushing through the arms, coming up to your swan. Then slowly lower yourself back down. Let's do one more like that. Keeping the gaze forward, no crunching through the neck. Now gaze back at your left foot, then look forward. Twist to gaze at your right foot, and then look forward again. Lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Push yourself back up to all fours. Feet come together, knees wide. Push your butt back towards your heels, coming into your child's pose, reaching the arms long out in front of you to get a deeper stretch. We'll take a few breaths here, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. Now come back up to all fours, curl your toes under, then push yourself back into your downward dog stretch. Lengthening through the spine, pulling that belly button in. You can bend one knee at a time, marching it out if that feels good for you. We'll stay here for a couple more breaths. Now walk your hands back towards your feet, coming into a forward fold. Grab onto both elbows with your hands. Let your head hang heavy as you rock side to side. Nod your head yes. Shake your head no. Drop your hands back to the mat. Take a big inhale here. On your exhale, begin to roll up one vertebra at a time, belly button pulling in. Head is the last thing to come back up. Once you get up there, roll your shoulders back a couple of times. And we are finished. Great job, everyone.